Right now, at this very moment, Manchester United are in advanced talks with Atalanta over Ederson. The player has already made his decision. He has paused every other club interested in signing him. He is waiting for one club and one club only: Manchester United. At the same time, West Ham are fielding inquiries for Mateus Fernandes. Paris Saint-Germain want him. Arsenal want him. And Manchester United are in that conversation too. The clock is ticking. A Uruguayan left back at Sporting CP with a £70 million release clause has been tracked for months. Inquiries have already been made. And Newcastle's Lewis Hall, valued at the same figure, is also on the radar with his future suddenly uncertain. This is not speculation. This is not wishful thinking. This is happening right now, today. Manchester United are entering this summer with serious financial power behind them, a clear set of targets identified, and a player in Mbeumo who has already quietly built the kind of dressing room culture that winning teams are built on. The rebuild is not coming. It has already started, and what happens in the next few weeks will define where this club is heading for the next 3 to 5 years. So stay right here, because we are breaking all of it down piece by piece right now. Before we break everything down piece by piece, let us be clear about what is actually at stake here. Manchester United have secured Champions League football for next season. They have finished third in the Premier League. They have offloaded significant wage burdens. And now the financial machinery is lining up to give the new leadership group the tools to build something serious. The question is not whether the money is there. The question is whether the decisions will match the ambition. Because historically, this club has had money and wasted it. Spent big and bought wrong. Paid over the odds and got underperforming players. This summer feels different, and the evidence suggests that the approach is more calculated, more structured, and more targeted than anything we have seen in recent years. If you want deeper analysis on stories like this every week, covering every angle of what is happening at Manchester United, then hit that subscribe button right now. Click the bell. Join the Adam United analyst community. Because this channel exists for the serious supporter who wants the full picture, not just the headlines. Now let us go story by story. Fabrizio Romano on Ederson. Fabrizio Romano posted, and I want you to hear exactly what he said. Ederson has paused all other clubs keen on signing him to give priority to Manchester United. Manchester United are in advanced talks with Atalanta, but waiting to give their final green light to proceed and close the deal. Now let that sit for a moment. Fabrizio Romano, the most reliable transfer journalist in world football, using the phrase advanced talks, using the phrase final green light, and crucially confirming that the player himself has paused interest from other clubs. That last point is the most important detail. When a player pauses other suitors, it tells you everything about his personal motivation. Ederson wants this move. He is not sitting on the fence. He is not using Manchester United as leverage. He has made a decision. He wants to play at Old Trafford. Now, from a football analysis standpoint, this changes the dynamic of the negotiation. When a player is pushing for your club specifically, you have a degree of leverage that you would not otherwise have. Atalanta know their player wants out. They know where he wants to go. That knowledge can actually work in Manchester United's favour when it comes to getting the price down. The situation is that the only thing standing between this deal and the finish line is Manchester United giving their internal approval to proceed. The framework is clearly in place. The player is committed. The talks are advanced. This one feels very close. Michael Carrick on Danny Welbeck. Michael Carrick was asked about Danny Welbeck ahead of the final day fixture, and this is what he said. He scored against us too often, laughs. I have known him since he was a little kid. He is a fantastic player. I still call him the kid, but he is an old man now. It makes me feel old, the fact that he is that age. But I have immense respect for him. His career, and the fact that he still plays so well at his age, really shows his mindset, his mentality, his attitude. So he deserves a lot of credit for that. And I am genuinely delighted, honestly, to see him doing so well. Now, this is not a transfer story, but it is an important moment of human football context. Carrick speaking about Welbeck with such warmth and genuine admiration tells you something about the culture this manager is trying to build. He is someone who respects longevity, who values mentality, who sees attitude as equal to ability. For the players currently in that Manchester United dressing room, hearing their manager speak like this publicly about a former teammate who has stayed dedicated and professional his whole career, that is a message. That is the standard being set. Dedication, mentality, attitude. Those are the qualities Carrick clearly values. And that is important context as we think about who this club should be bringing in this summer. UTD exclusive on Ederson transfer details. This post from UTD exclusive, citing Sky Sport, gives us the finer details on the Ederson situation. Manchester United are in advanced talks with Atalanta over Ederson. There is still a gap in the player's valuation between the two clubs, with Atalanta wanting around £45 million. But there is confidence a club-to-club agreement at a lower price will be reached soon, with the Brazilian out of contract next summer. The post also adds that Manchester United continue to do background work on other midfield targets, including Brighton's Carlos Baleba and West Ham's Mateus Fernandes. Now, this is where the analysis gets interesting. The key detail here is that Ederson's contract expires next summer. That single fact changes the entire negotiation. Atalanta are asking £45 million for a player who will be available for free in 12 months. That is their opening position. It is not a realistic closing position. Manchester United know this. Atalanta know this. The expectation that a lower fee will be agreed is logical and correct. The reality for the club is that they are in a strong negotiating position here. The player wants to leave. His contract is almost up. And Manchester United are the preferred destination. £30 million or below would represent genuine value for a player of Ederson's quality and age. The situation is clearly moving in that direction. The mention of Carlos Baleba and Mateus Fernandes as background targets is also very telling. This is a club doing its homework, not putting all its eggs in one basket. That kind of preparation is exactly what has been missing at Old Trafford for years. Centre Devils on Casemiro and the Ten Hag era. This post from Centre Devils, citing The Athletic, gives us a revealing behind-the-scenes look at the frustrations that built up during Erik Ten Hag's second season in charge. The post states that Casemiro was one of several senior players to hold reservations about decisions taken in the manager's office and at the top of the club. The previous summer, Manchester United had ultimately declined to enter the running to sign Harry Kane as he prepared to leave Tottenham. Casemiro privately questioned that stance and was not the only member of the dressing room to perceive a lack of ambition in the club's transfer business, having expected more players of a similar calibre to join and build on a strong third-place Premier League finish in 2023. This is a deeply important piece of context that explains a lot of what went wrong at Manchester United over the past 2 years. The evidence suggests that the breakdown under Ten Hag was not purely tactical. It was cultural. Senior players, leaders in that dressing room, looked at the transfer decisions being made at the top of the club and felt the ambition did not match the position the team had earned. Think about that for a moment. Manchester United finished third in the Premier League. That is a genuine platform, a jumping-off point for something bigger. And the players in that squad expected the club to respond with serious reinforcements. Instead, the Harry Kane opportunity was passed up. And players like Casemiro, experienced, decorated, winners at the highest level, took notice. The situation is that this kind of dressing room frustration does not stay hidden forever. It filters into training, into performances, into results, and ultimately into the kind of disconnect between squad and management that contributed to the collapse of that period. The lesson for Ineos and the new leadership is clear. You cannot ask players of elite caliber to buy into a project and then fail to match that request with genuine investment. The new regime appears to understand this. The budget numbers we will discuss shortly suggest they are ready to act accordingly. Stretford End on Maxi Araujo. Stretford End reported that Manchester United have made inquiries about Sporting CP defender Maxi Araujo. Manchester United view the Uruguayan as a potential solution to their recurring left-back issues and have tracked him for several months. Araujo has a £70 million release clause, though Manchester United are expected to push for a lower fee if talks advance this summer. The left-back position has been a persistent problem for Manchester United for several years. It is one of those issues that never quite got resolved in a satisfying way. The fact that this club has now identified and tracked a specific target over several months shows the kind of structured planning that supporters have been demanding. The £70 million release clause is a high starting point, but release clauses are ceilings, not necessarily final prices. Manchester United are expected to push for a lower fee, and given Sporting CP's general willingness to negotiate on players below their top-tier assets, there is reason to believe a deal in the region of £50 to £60 million could be achievable. What matters here is the profile. A Uruguayan fullback who has been playing at a high level in Portugal, physical. Aggressive. A player who can contribute in attack and defend with intensity. The evidence suggests Manchester United have done their homework on this one and are serious about finally solving the left-back problem. This is the kind of multi-layered transfer window that requires daily analysis to stay on top of. Left-backs, midfielders, wingers, budget breakdowns. There is so much happening. If you want to make sure you never miss a breakdown like this one, subscribe to Adam United Analyst right now. Every major story, every transfer angle, every tactical implication. This channel covers it all. Hit subscribe and the notification bell so you are first to know when a new video drops. Transfer News Live on Lewis Hall. Transfer News Live, citing Sam C reports, stated that Manchester United remain strongly interested in Lewis Hall amid growing uncertainty over his future at Newcastle. The England international is understood to favour staying in the Premier League if he leaves St James Park, and a return to London is currently not his preferred option. Hall is valued at around £70 million. This is the second left-back target on the radar within the same news cycle, which tells you something about how seriously Manchester United are approaching this position. Lewis Hall is a different profile to Araujo. He is English. He is young. He is Premier League proven. He has played at a high level for Newcastle and shown real quality when given the opportunity. And crucially, the uncertainty around his future at Newcastle gives Manchester United an opening. The fact that he favours staying in the Premier League and does not want to return to London narrows the realistic destination options for him considerably. Manchester United would fit that criteria perfectly. A big club, Premier League, outside London. With Champions League football next season, at £70 million, the price is steep. But for a young English left-back with top-level experience and years ahead of him, that valuation is not unreasonable in today's market. The situation is that if Manchester United are serious about upgrading that position with long-term intent, Lewis Hall is exactly the type of player you build around. Manchester United forever on the summer budget. This post broke down the expected spending power available to Manchester United this summer, and the numbers are significant. £47.7 million from the third-place Premier League finish prize. £33 million from Champions League qualification bonus. £38 million from the sale of Rasmus Højlund to Napoli. £25.9 million from the sale of Marcus Rashford to Barcelona. £75 million or more from sales including Onana, Ugarte, Xerxes and others. £350,000 per week in savings from Casemiro's wages. £325,000 per week from Rashford's wages. And £250,000 per week from Sancho's wages. The Post also noted that none of these figures include matchday revenue, television rights, sponsorships, or Champions League performance bonuses for next season. Now, this is where the analysis becomes genuinely exciting. The financial picture here is not that of a club in crisis. It is the picture of a club that has restructured intelligently and is now positioned to invest seriously. The combination of prize money, transfer income from outgoing sales, and wage bill reductions adds up to a substantial war chest. And the wage savings alone are remarkable. Nearly £1 million per week saved just from 3 departures. That is money that can now be redirected into quality replacements. The evidence suggests that Ineos have spent the past 12 months quietly doing the unglamorous but essential work of clearing the decks. Selling players who are either underperforming or surplus to requirements. Removing bloated wages. Clearing the structural debt that was limiting ambition. The result is a summer where the spending power is genuinely there. And as the Post correctly states, Ineos have no excuse not to invest properly and bring in real quality. If the goal is to get back to the very top, the spending has to match the ambition. That is not a fan opinion. That is financial logic. BBC Sport on Jared Bowen. BBC Sport reported that Manchester United are reportedly considering a move for West Ham forward Jared Bowen. Now, it is important to be clear here. This was reported under the football gossip column banner. That means this is a rumour at this stage. It has not been confirmed by Fabrizio Romano or other Tier 1 sources. It should be treated accordingly. That said, the logic of the target makes sense. Jared Bowen is a proven Premier League player with pace, directness, and an ability to contribute in both goals and assists. If Manchester United are genuinely exploring this option, it would represent an attempt to add quality and Premier League experience to the attacking department. But again, this is gossip column level reporting at this stage. It is worth monitoring, but it is not a confirmed pursuit. The situation is that this one needs more corroboration before it can be treated as a serious transfer story. UTD Truthful on Mateus Fernandes and Malik Diouf. UTD Truthful, citing Mail Sport, reported that West Ham are seeking around £80 million for Mateus Fernandes. Manchester United have inquired, with interest also from Paris Saint-Germain and Arsenal. Additionally, Manchester United have watched Malik Diouf closely. This is a significant piece of news for two reasons. First, the Mateus Fernandes situation. £80 million is a very high asking price. And the fact that Paris Saint-Germain and Arsenal are also interested creates a competitive environment that will drive that price higher, not lower. Manchester United are in a race here, and West Ham are in a very strong negotiating position with multiple top-level clubs circling. The question for Manchester United is whether Fernandes is the right fit at that price, or whether the money would be better directed elsewhere. With Ederson available for significantly less and providing a different profile, the decision about which midfielder to prioritise will be a crucial one for the summer strategy. Second, the mention of Malik Diouf being watched closely is noteworthy. Manchester United are clearly casting a wide net, doing their due diligence on multiple targets across different positions and price brackets. This kind of thorough scouting process is exactly what a well-run club looks like in the transfer market. Bryan Mbeumo's debut season at Manchester United. Now let us shift into deeper analysis on the two major articles from today. The first covers Bryan Mbeumo's debut season at Old Trafford, and it is a story worth reflecting on carefully. The reality for the club is that Mbeumo's first season has been a genuine success by the standards of recent signings at Old Trafford. 11 goals in all competitions, 3 assists, and crucially, a Premier League return of 10 goals, which puts him in that bracket of genuinely productive wingers in the division. But the most important detail in this story is not the statistics. It is the human element. Mbeumo has revealed that he has built close personal relationships with 2 younger players in the squad. With Amad Diallo, whom he describes as a little brother, and with Lenny Yoro, to whom he gives the same description. These are not throwaway comments. When a new signing embeds himself this deeply into a squad within one season, that speaks to genuine character and emotional intelligence. Mbeumo is not just performing on the pitch. He is contributing to the culture of it. He is mentoring younger players. He is building genuine bonds. For a club that has had serious issues with dressing room harmony, player cliques, and cultural fragmentation in recent years, the emergence of positive relationships like these is more valuable than it might appear on the surface. The evidence suggests that Mbeumo is exactly the kind of person you want at the heart of a rebuild. Now, looking ahead, the situation becomes even more interesting. Cameroon failed to qualify for the World Cup this summer. That means Mbeumo will be one of the very few high-level attackers who gets a full pre-season with his club. No international tournament, no late return, no fitness concerns at the start of the campaign. That is a significant competitive advantage. Players who miss pre-season often take the first 2 or 3 months of a new campaign to find their sharpest form. Mbeumo will not have that problem. He will be fit, sharp, and ready from day one. The expectation should be that a player who scored 11 in a disrupted first season, who has now settled into the club and its environment, who will benefit from a complete pre-season and the uplift of Champions League football, should be looking at 20 goals in all competitions next season. That is not an unrealistic target. It is the natural progression for a player of his quality in an improved team environment. Mbeumo arriving with that kind of platform should excite every Manchester United supporter. Ederson's qualities and his potential role at Manchester United. The second article focuses on Atalanta midfielder Ederson and makes a compelling case for why he would be a strong fit in Manchester United's midfield. It is now clear that Ederson's most distinctive quality is not technical. It is physical. Specifically, it is his ability to cover enormous distances across a 90-minute period while maintaining his intensity levels throughout. In the Champions League campaign that just concluded, Ederson covered an average of 12 kilometers per 90 minutes. That is an elite figure by any measure. It places him among the very best ground-covering midfielders in European football. Now, why does this matter specifically for Manchester United? Because the Premier League is the most physically demanding top league in the world. The pace is relentless. The transitions are fast. Midfielders who cannot sustain their intensity across an entire game become liabilities in the final 30 minutes when matches are often decided. The situation is that Kobbie Mainoo is the creative engine in this midfield. He drives forward. He finds spaces. He dictates tempo with the ball at his feet. But he needs a partner who can do the defensive work that allows him that freedom. He needs someone who covers ground when United are caught in transition. Someone who reads danger early and has the engine to get back and deal with it. That is exactly the profile Ederson provides. His defensive-first mindset, combined with his physical capacity to cover the entire pitch, would be a natural complement to what Mainoo does. And by extension, it would also free Bruno Fernandes to operate in the areas where he is most dangerous, further forward, more expressive, with less defensive responsibility weighing on him. The evidence suggests this is not a signing being made out of desperation or because it was the cheapest option available. It is a signing that fits a very specific tactical need. A calculated piece of midfield architecture designed to give Carrick a structured, high-intensity engine room that can function both in possession and out of it. At around £38 million, as one report suggested, Ederson would not be the marquee signing of the summer, but he could be one of the most important ones. The kind of player who does not make headlines but makes everything around him work more efficiently. That kind of signing is exactly what builds title-challenging teams. The concern some have raised is that Ederson has never played in the Premier League. That is a legitimate point. No one can guarantee how a player will adapt to a new country, a new league, and a new physical challenge. But his physical profile, his ability to cover 12 kilometers per game at high intensity, suggests he has the athletic foundation to handle the demands of English football. The transition risk is real but manageable. And the upside? A technically sound, physically elite defensive midfielder who complements Mainoo perfectly is significant. Let us now zoom out and look at the full picture that has emerged from everything we have covered today. Manchester United are entering this summer with a clear identity of intent. They have money available. They have identified targets across multiple positions. They are pursuing a defensive midfielder, monitoring multiple left-back options, exploring attacking reinforcements, and doing background scouting work on a range of other profiles. What is different about this window compared to recent ones is the structure behind it. Multiple credible sources corroborating the same stories. A player in Ederson actively prioritizing Manchester United. A financial foundation built on real income rather than speculation. Wage savings that give the club room to invest in quality rather than simply replacing like for like. The situation is that for the first time in several years, Manchester United go into a summer transfer window from a position of relative strength. Not perfect strength. There are still challenges. The left-back issue is real and expensive to solve. The midfield needs multiple additions. The forward line needs depth and competition. But the tools are there. The intent appears genuine. And the culture within the squad, as evidenced by Mbeumo's comments about his relationships with Ahmad and Yoro, and by Carrick's thoughtful words about mentality and dedication, appears to be shifting in the right direction. The lesson from the Casemiro revelations about the Ten Hag era is that ambition must be demonstrated, not just spoken about. Senior players watch how a club invests. They draw conclusions about whether the people at the top genuinely believe they can compete at the highest level. Ineos now have the opportunity, and frankly the obligation, to show that they have absorbed that lesson. If they spend wisely, bring in the right characters as much as the right players, and build on the cultural progress that figures like Mbeumo are already contributing to, then the platform for next season is a genuinely exciting one. Champions League football returning to Old Trafford. A young core of players developing together. A manager who values mentality and character. A budget capable of making several serious additions. The foundation is there. The question is whether the decisions will be as good as the opportunity deserves. That is the analysis for today on Adam United Analyst. If this kind of deep, structured breakdown is what you want every week, then subscribe right now. Hit the notification bell. Leave a comment below telling me which of these transfer stories you are most excited about or most concerned about. I read every single comment on this channel and I will respond. Thank you for watching. Stay with the process, stay with the analysis, and I will see you in the next one.